Put this at the start of the video.
Are we recording?
What do you think?
Oh.
We just saw Captain America 4, or as I put it on the Discord, Cat Pain Yankland.
Yeah, we did. Also, isn't it interesting? We're in the same room.
Yeah.
Wow.
Travelled so far from abroad, from exotic Republic of Ireland.
Nostalgic, isn't it?
Ah, dear. So, yeah, we went and saw the new Captain America film.
Yes, we did.
First initial thoughts, it was better than a lot of the recent Marvel films. Still not, wow, jump out of your seats good, but it was a solid entry.
Yeah, no, I have to admit, I have thought every single Marvel project since Endgame has been okay or crap. This one was definitely higher than okay.
Even Agatha.
Even Agatha.
Did you watch Agatha?
No.
There you
No.
go.
I haven't watched a lot of the TV
It's
shows, to be
been
honest.
a bad time.
Even Moon Knight to episode 5?
I watched like 4 episodes of Moon Knight and then peaced out.
Episode 5 is one of the best things that Marvel has done. The rest of Moon Knight's nowhere near as good. Episode 5 is just spectacular.
But yeah, it hasn't been a great time for Marvel of late. However, although this film's far from perfect, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad at all.
And that's strange, because I recall we watched the Marvels together and you were expecting it to be terrible, then you were like, that is better than I thought it was. And you
I
laughed
expected it to be
bad.
complete shit.
You laughed out loud multiple times.
Yeah, but it had major flaws. Its third act was horrific, and it had an entire subplot that could have been cut out of the film, and nobody would have noticed.
But we're not talking about that.
Yeah, we're not talking about the Marvels.
Because they could rant about the Marvels for a while. Okay, so we're now going to enter into spoiler territory for those of you who haven't seen the film.
Oh, I never said what I thought about Captain America 4.
Oh yeah, what do you think about it?
Because, I'm the one who's actually a resident, actual MCU fan and still is.
I suppose
So,
it's also your
he
name on the
watches
channel.
everything. Yeah, that too. Outrank you. Basically, I'm with Movie Bob on this. It's a very solid Marvel Phase 2 film. It's, not as good as the heights of Marvel ones, but it's not as bad as the bads. And it's basically Winter Soldier, but Winter Soldier is like spectacularly good, and this is just quite good. Not as good Winter Soldier.
I don't know. So now we're going to go to spoiler territory.
I'm pretty sure I hit the record button. Can you see a little record icon on it?
I saw it flashing. Yes, it is.
Yes, it's recording.
I'm just being confident.
It's
I
against
don't
the
have to
red.
redo this whole thing again. And that would have been about embarrassing.
Yes,
Yeah, you're good.
Because the red's on the red.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah,
We're
spoilers.
professionals.
Yeah, we are professionals. So spoilers.
My little sister judging us off.
Spoilers. The film had its problems.
Mm-hmm.
CGI continues to be a problem with modern Marvel films.
Yeah.
The action sequences felt very light. Okay, we had a little bit of a what?
She is trying to steal the treats by knocking it off the...
Okay, another distraction for the audience.
There are 2 cats and they're having fun.
The CGI had no weight to it, particularly the fight sequence at the White House. Loved some of the visuals, but then you got taken out of it whenever things just felt so airy and light and just didn't feel like it had any weight
Apparently
to it.
about half of the film was reshot. I guess the bits where the CGI and stuff was much worse is probably from the reshoots because Marvel, they've been cutting back on budgets recently.
It just boggles my mind that this constantly happens with films. How can you screw up the cheapest and easiest part of a film, writing a script, to such a degree where you have to completely rework your films constantly and in reverse?
They're written by committee, darling.
It's not
Someone writes a solid script and then the executives get their little paws on it and then they mutilate
That's
the
the basic, that's the usual with Hollywood. Marvel has an extra issue. Marvel's first film, Iron Man, was basically heavily improvised. There was only a very basic script, and Jeff Bridges freaked out while filming it because he's not used to this, and he basically worked out that this is a $200 million student film. Just go with it. And Marvel have kept that looseness in the other films, and unfortunately it results in a lot of things changing, like very late in the day, which means changing sort of CGI stuff.
Yeah, but you need someone who's used to doing the improvisation.
I know, but that was the style they worked out with Iron Man, and they to greater or lesser extent in each film afterwards, they've basically kept to it, though usually not as much as with Iron Man.
Anyway, back to the film itself.
Yeah, I do agree with you, the CGI where Red Hulk, by the way, Red Hulk's in this, does feel very...
It's hardly a shocker. It's literally in the poster.
He should not have been in the poster or the trailer.
No.
Yeah,
he really
I agree.
shouldn't.
It would have been better. Like, Red Hulk, I knew was coming. I just didn't know who it was going to be. And that was a positive
I
surprise.
didn't spot it was Harrison Ford in the trailer.
I didn't watch the trailer. I just knew from the poster.
Yeah, I don't watch modern trailers very often because they tend to give away the whole damn film.
Either that or I watched it and forgot about
You
it.
never read the Marvel comics?
I don't
No.
read comics.
You
Do
ever-
I look like a nerd?
You ever play Marvel? You ever play Lego Marvel?
The
Where
nearest
he's a character.
reliable comic shop is a 2-hour drive from us.
You ever play Lego Marvel on PlayStation?
No.
You where Ross can turn into Red Hulk. He has a big mustache as Hulk. It's great.
No.
No. So it came as a surprise.
I love the misdirection on whether or not Ross was actually behind the subterfuge.
Yeah, they had a number of characters they did that which was nice. Although the core villain was weak.
Yeah.
The lack of setup. If this had been established in previous films, sure. And that takes me to the core problem
Was
with
he in
modern.
Hulk
Yes,
films?
he was in the Incredible Hulk, the first Incredible Hulk with Edward Norton. Yes,
Jesus, that was so long ago now.
What I take issue with.
he assisted them, and then he was helping Banner, and then there was a fight, and he got knocked over, and his head got a huge gash in his head, and then some of Banner's blood got into the wound. And the last thing we see of him is the blood's getting into his wound, and his head started mutating, and he's going like, and that was it. They kept teasing they bring him back because the leader, that's what his name is in the comics. He is one of the original Incredible Hulk villains. Usually in the comics, he's got a really tall head, like his just regular head, but like up to there, and he's got a mustache and stuff. In the original design for the leader, if you look online, it's online. They released images of him with the comic accurate design, and with and in the Funko Pop that they've done of him, it has the tall head and the beard. But then I'm guessing during the extensive reshoots they completely redesigned him to have the weird sort of hairless brain look, which is more. I prefer the comic accurate
To
one.
be fair, if you have like a really tall headgear, it's kind of hard to keep that consistent.
It's goofy as fuck.
Yeah,
That's also
it looked goofy as fuck in this. I mean, he did not look good. He looked completely out of place.
In the right lighting, it looked terrific. In most other lighting, it looked silly.
Even the dark sequence when he first appears, like this is clearly a CGI character, and he was just looming in the darkness.
No, his costume, he was entirely practical.
Well, he didn't fucking look it.
According to an interview with the guy who played him, I forget his name. He played Delmar in No Brother Where Art Thou. He said he insisted on not being CGI and wearing prosthetics the entire time.
We've clearly
so the
forgotten
characters
how to
would
do
react to him.
prosthetics well because he looked like a CGI mess.
His eyes were CGI glowed. That was about it.
So I liked the fact that I thought we were going into a third act with the aircraft carrier fight sequence. And then it was like, no, there's still another act to go. It's like, nice, okay.
And you had the almost disaster with the semi-transformation.
Yeah, which was nice. We also had a fight sequence inside the White House early on in the film. It would be nice if that was a bit bigger. Positive thoughts back to X-Men 2.
Yeah. Yeah, that was X-Men 2's one. That is definitely a high point of early 2000s comic book movies.
Let's just go to its core. The thing I liked most about this was the bits that reflected Captain America 2. There's something going on within, there's a poison in the system, and then uncovering what's going on. Those were the best bits. and sadly they had a lot of other stuff along with it. It's nice that finally someone recognized that the Eternals happened, and the implications of having a massive thing come out of the ocean and nearly destroy the planet.
To be fair, this was meant to come out originally like in 2020, like 3 years ago. So it would have been fresh. It and Falcon and the Winter Soldier would have been fresh on people's minds when it was originally meant to come out. William Hurt hadn't died when this was meant to come out to begin with. It's like, poor William Hurt.
Yeah.
He never got to do his... Though him as Red Hulk would have been amazing, because, I don't know if you've seen much William Hurt acting, but the guy does not have human emotions. He
was brilliant as Thordak in Legend of Vox Machina, because he just has this beautiful voice that sounds so threatening.
But he doesn't emote in the way that normal people do. Sometimes he doesn't emote at all. Sometimes he...
Yeah, it's all in the voice.
Yeah, so it's a damn shame he never got to play a Vulcan.
Mm.
He would have been spectacular at that. I mean, if you ever see him in a TV version of Moby Dick, it's like he's emoting at his most you've ever seen it, and it's like it's almost at a normal person level. But so seeing him try to play Hulk, that would have been fascinating.
So, what do people specifically like about the film?
I liked the misdirect. Like, that was very well written, that they didn't telegraph who the mastermind was. For the vast majority of the film, you still think Rossi, because of his past, is behind everything. That he is manipulating this treaty to try and make himself look good. To try and show that he's changed. To get his daughter back. Some of the scenes with the new Captain America were really cheesy. Really corny dialogue. So that's starting to rub off from the original Captain America as well.
Yeah. You had that in the Falcon one as well.
Again, sound design in certain sequences, typical modern movie, it's too fucking loud.
You had the bits where you had the really obvious and terrible dubbing that were done over Captain America, where it was a bit like Workshed in Evil Dead 2 when Ash has Workshed dubbed over his line in the wrong place and it's really loud. It's like that, where Cap is speaking and his lines are like 4 decibels louder than the rest of his dialogue in the scene, and it is so obvious. I wonder what he was actually saying in those scenes.
The after credit sequence was also entirely what's happening here.
Memories there of, was it Batman v Superman?
Yes.
With the "They are coming."
Yeah.
Ding ding ding.
Yeah, it's a better version of that, but it's still not good.
Your thoughts, Stu?
I enjoyed it. I took issue with what I've already mentioned. A couple other things. They were very much pushing the fact that he is not superhero, not superhero syndrome, serumed. So he's just a guy in a suit, which is cool. And yet he's beating the absolute crap out of tons and tons of people. Well, and then he fights one guy and has trouble with the one guy.
To be fair, in the first part, he's got the vibranium sort of suit. He's probably got other tech in there.
Yeah, he had that as well. But he fought the one guy as well. And then later on, he's fighting a whole room of people with the kid.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
And that's ridiculous.
Where they didn't have any tech and they take an entire room.
Yeah, and then they struggle against others.
They did get their asses kicked a bit first.
A bit.
An inconsistency in that, and it irritated me a bit.
Yeah.
It goes
also
back
called
to
at the start of the film that that boy was going to get absolutely fucked at some point.
It goes back to modern films, action films, where most people that they fight, they're just cannon fodder. It's almost like a video game where you're expected to take out hordes and hordes of people, and it's unsatisfying and it feels unrealistic and it screws the weight. Not the weight.
Convinced that the same stunt team that fought them in the room fought them in the hallway. Convinced that's the same stunt team.
Could well be. I'm amused that, again, we're getting another random member of the Serpent Society. Eventually we're going to have all of them in the MCU and they're never going to meet on screen because, Cottonmouth and Bushmaster from Luke Cage were both members of the Serpent Society in the comics, and now you've got...
Munchkin Widow was fun.
Oh
Yeah, I mean, she definitely had a distinct look to her, and then it's a pity
Was
we
her
had.
distinct look the fact that she was a foot and a half shorter than everyone else in the cast?
Yeah, which was caught your attention, and then they only gave her one sequence, which was disappointing.
And she was actually competent. Like at the start as well, again, the misdirect, they're making her seem to be an antagonist, like she's in on the plot, but then it's like, oh right, she's actually competent and realizes that this is fishy as fuck.
Oh, that actually reminds me of something that irritated the hell out of me. The convenience of so many things, like particularly when Mr. Intelligent Mind guy just, oh yeah, I'm just going to walk to the edge of this camp which has their guys, and he's like, is this going to control your heart? It's like, you found out where they were. You just happened to
Use
approach-
probabilities.
He just happened to walk out. You just happened to have this thing that you developed that affects people's heart. What the actual hell?
He uses probabilities.
As it was helpful.
Maybe you should have done the probability to realise that that was pretty fucking unlikely.
Yeah, they plastered very
It
nicely on the
worked.
side of the building that it was a Navy training facility, which implies that it is somewhere inside a military base.
And yet this guy
Yeah, he just kind of
walks
walked in.
This is one of the things where they probably shouldn't have
Was
cut
he
down
walking
his.
around with fucking iPad doing the mind control flashes to anybody he encountered? Like the fucking doctor's psychic paper?
Probably. But this is one of the things where by making.
What are you doing here? Look at this. Flash, flash, flash.
I have a feeling that was again one of the reshoot things. They couldn't properly set it up, so it was just inserted and hope nobody would notice. Well,
Probably.
I noticed.
In the comic, the leader
Is
has
this guy implied to be like precognizant?
no. It's psychohistory from Foundation. He can calculate what's likely to happen in the future. But in the comics, the leader's powers are not that. They probably include that because he's just really, really smart, but also I believe telepathic. So if they kept that element, he could have forced people to do it without using the technology. And that possibly would have made it more realistic.
Then they couldn't do it like long distance, like flashies on the phone.
Depends how strong his telepathy is.
Now, I'm going to bring up the elephant in the room.
It's all the way over there.
And with that being said, the timing of the film's release is not ideal.
No, it's spectacular.
No,
Because Captain America fights the president who turned into a giant, orangey red rage monster and destroys America.
and he
Yeah,
doesn't
utterly
destroy
unstable.
America.
He destroys the White
He
House.
does the right thing in the end. He's made into a
Because-
worthwhile character who's doing the things for the right reasons, and at the end has a turnaround arc. He's redeemed as a character. This is not what we want to be the message.
It's an American film, so they're making America look better than it is.
Like clearly, this if it had come out when it was intended, it might not have had the same connection there. That
I
I
also
would.
point out that at some point an American fighter pilot tried to kamikaze dive a Japanese carrier.
Oh, the irony.
Was that the Japanese carrier? Okay, I mean, considering all the focus was on Harrison Ford in the carrier, I assumed that was maybe attacking the.
Harrison Ford was in a Japanese carrier.
Oh well, that would have been very interesting, different take.
Oh, you were talking about Sabra, the Israeli Black Widow. There was actually some controversy that she was made a Black Widow in the reshoots, I believe, because Sabra in the comics is basically the Israeli Captain America, so she's Captain Israel basically, and she has done terrible things for Palestinians in the comics and been an anti-hero and villain in the comics in various contexts over the years.
Definitely not the time for that.
And
So we just watched September 5th.
there was. Let's just say there was controversy after, in production, and so they had to completely retool the character to make it less oh dear.
Yeah.
Final thoughts, dear?
I greatly enjoyed the latest episode of MCU, the show.
Yeah.
The most of it. Here's the thing. I enjoyed it. So, and most of the things I would bring up because of how, overwhelmingly negative I am as a person, I'm just terrible, everyone hates me, I would just bring up things to complain about, and most of them are not that big a deal, like, why didn't they have the leader's proper design? Why didn't they cast Sam Elliott as Thunderbolt Ross? every time we had a flashback to younger Ross and it was Harrison Ford with a mustache, I got taken out of it because we know he used to look like William Hurt. You know, he has changed. He changed into an older actor. But what else? Oh, at the end, they bring back Liv Tyler, which is very, very nice. You know, because she's been. I assume she was snapped by Thanos, 15 years ago instead of 5.
You'd imagine she would have noticed the fact her father looks completely different.
You'd think.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, when she first appeared, because she was through the glass, I was sitting there thinking, is that fucking Agatha? I was like, no, hang on. She steps in for like a split second, and it was just like the...
It was Agatha all along.
Exactly! I was like, hang the fuck on! And then it comes back to you, like, oh no, never mind.
It's like, oh fuck, it's an elf. But whenever they had they made a big hay of the fact that it's like I used to go out and hang out with my daughter at the blossoms and stuff, the cherry trees, and it was really nice. And then he calls her, and then he's like, hey, well, I was cool to walk with you and the cherries and stuff. It'll be great. And then they have a fight at the cherry blossom thing where Captain America talks him down. And
I made a mistake. It wasn't the voice actor of Thordak. Never mind. Ignore me. Ignore that.
You would think that the obvious thing to do would be to have his daughter somehow turn up there because he's unconscious for long enough, and then she talks him down.
Oops.
Because that's important for him and his
assumed
humanity.
They were going to do that, especially because their obsession with convenient shit happening.
Yeah.
But that would be thematic convenient ship that they set up in the structure.
I would have been less annoyed about that versus the guy randomly appearing.
And so now we've got...
So within the phone call saying, I'll meet you at this place after my press conference.
Also, and yet going back to complain about that, we're going to turn up this training facility to stop you telling Captain America. It's literally the next fucking scene. It happens. And what was Captain America going to do?
Yeah.
And
you've got... Okay, but so instead of having her turn up and being really convenient and talking him down, which would have been resonant and charactery and stuff like that, instead you get Captain America to do it, and he's going to awkwardly talk down this guy who hates his guts. And it's like, there are a small group of people who could stop Thaddeus Ross from getting pissed off, and probably one of the guys that he chucked in the raft would be one of them.
Growth as a character.
Yeah,
he grew. His heart grew 5 times.
It's the whole theme that he has actually made a concerted effort to change.
I know, but it's just that rings a lot less true. You know who would have worked better than that? The Banner or
they couldn't afford
Steve
him.
Rogers.
Yeah, they couldn't afford him.
Or Banner or Steve Rogers.
To be truly honest, the amount of times they name dropped Ant-Man in this, I was totally expecting him to pop in at the hospital at some point at the end.
Yeah, that would have been great.
Yeah, okay, this maybe I'm just misremembering here, but the way he said that the Avengers haven't existed since the Sokovia Accords.
No, he said that he tried to shut them down, and then they sort of they shattered. So they were a secret group and stuff like that. So yeah, they technically haven't sort of.
And yet they had a headquarters though, which they fought in Endgame. They had a fucking
weren't
headquarters.
official though.
And yet they had a headquarters?
Yeah, but that was like private
property. They had
property.
bloody symbols on it.
That was private property of Tony Stark.
Yeah.
They still existed.
They said he shut them down, and then the snap happened, and then he got, and then everyone went away, and then the Avengers were allowed to be official again, to do stuff,
And then they got shut down again?
No, they split. They stopped operating after Endgame.
It felt messy.
Oh, it really does. But okay, how many Avengers are still alive on Earth right now?
Ant-Man.
Banner's chilling in Tahiti, I think.
And who is not
Hawkeye.
retired? Hawkeye's retired. Banner's retired. Black Widow's dead. Thor's off world. Iron Man's dead. Captain America is elderly and/or on the moon. Falcon's. Yeah, there's a line. He's Chris Evans is on the moon.
Mine's gone blank. Eye patch.
Nick Fury's
Nick
around.
Fury.
He's still around and operating. He's
Isn't
he's
he
in
space right now?
Yes, he's in space. Spider-Man's still around, but no one knows who he is. And,
Hey, well, but this film was before that.
No,
They just released it in different order.
No, this is usually these unless they actually state it out loud. This film is set afterwards, and Falcon's still operating, and Winter Soldier's retired too. He's gone into politics. So literally, there are no Avengers. They have to rebuild
Strange.
Yeah, no, which is fine. I actually kind of like the idea of rebuilding the Avengers as a thematic thing.
it. Like if they do a new Avengers,
It seems a bit odd though, having it at the same point we are about to release Thunderbolt. It's like you're talking about restarting the Avengers, and then we have an alternative Avengers.
Yes.
A weird thing to happen back to back.
this is another character who also realizes we need another Avengers, and so she's putting together her own one. She's been doing this in the background of the MCU's Phase 4.
Yeah, I saw that. That again goes back to the fact that things felt like they should have happened in a slightly different order, and the fact they've been building up two separate things in parallel in the films, and neither have come to a head yet, and it feels messy.
It does feel messy. But who would be in this new Avengers?
I honestly don't know.
They've got the girl with her bow and arrow.
Yeah, Captain. She's too young.
Isn't there a girl who's in a power suit now too? I don't remember.
Ironheart.
And
They're going to be like the champions or something, or the
Okay,
young Avengers.
and-
Okay, they're not. They're too young.
Ant-Man's still there.
Okay, you got Ant-Man.
And,
You got
and the Wasp.
You got her. Yes.
What about the
Doctor Strange.
Mother,
I still can't stand Harry.
Mother and the old Ant-Man woman.
Yeah, this
wife.
Janet Van Dyne.
The original Wasp.
She's there, and
She's like 70.
Yeah.
Nick Fury's still there, and you've got Kamala Khan,
Kamala Khan. She's one of the young ones.
and
They're
Marvel woman's still there.
Captain Marvel-
Not Rambo. She's in another dimension.
Captain
talking to the
Marvel is
beast.
rarely on Earth. So Moon Knight.
So many characters. Oh yeah, he is
That
a
makes
character,
sense.
isn't he?
Isn't there like one or two of the Eternals still alive?
Isn't Blade?
Yeah.
No.
Blade is there, but he's never turned up on screen. So you
Except
can't
the
really
Deadpool
get
film.
What about the guy from
Alternate universe
the
one.
black and white one? The guy, is he still alive?
Werewolf.
Yeah,
Yes.
did he live? Okay,
Yes.
he could be an Avenger.
He could.
Everyone could be an
He
Avenger.
could theoretically be an Avenger. Yes.
I think we've gone a little off topic here.
Agatha
Yeah.
could be an Avenger.
No, she couldn't.
If anyone could be an Avenger, then Agatha can. Okay, or Ghost's not allowed. Or is this, some new bigotry?
Oh yeah, we've got Vision.
Yeah, she's a ghost
Vision
now.
is somewhere.
I haven't seen that.
Anyway, yes, let's wrap this up. Nicola, do you want to tell the people about the things this time?
I already did my final.
No, not that. The
Oh,
closing thing.
okay. Yeah, check out the Patreon for exclusive and advanced video releases.
You can hear more of us talking shite.
And,
Yeah.
shortly we'll be uploading a new patron exclusive review for The Scuzzies, which is a film that deeply affected these two. They thought about it for days after watching it.
Check out the Discord where we occasionally pop in and do little community events. We need to do another one of those.
We do.
But other than that, if you enjoyed this,
Subscribe.
that was what I was getting to. You just jumped in over me. How dare you?
She's already subscribed.
Yeah, that's so am I suppose.
Like, subscribe, share this with someone you want to impress/annoy,
Comment
and comment. Yes, please do comment.
helps with the algorithm and all that malarkey.
The more you comment and the more you help us, the more we can give love and affection and spoil these cats who are making noises in the background.
You sort of signaled towards me when you said that before you said cat, so I was really confused.
There's a cat there, and there's a cat there.
They're off screen. There's two cats in this room.
The audience can perceive things beyond the camera,
Yeah, but the cats are way far off screen.
Well, if you
regardless.
really want, before we turn off the recording, you could tilt the camera towards Chi.
I could just pick her up. Hi, G.
So yeah, help us spoil these kittens. They need your love and support.
Okay, she doesn't like it. Anyway, bye-bye.
Bye, folks.